All right, so everyone's talking about these large language models, LLMs. They can write code, translate languages, even compose music. But what happens when someone tries to turn these powerful tools against us? That's what we're diving into today. We've got some research hot off the press about a sneaky new attack called virus that targets the very heart of how LLMs learn and adapt.
Yeah, this new research really highlights the challenges of making these models both incredibly powerful and safe.
Okay.
You see, many companies offer these pre-trained LLMs, and users can customize them with their own data, fine-tuning them for specific tasks.
So it's kind of like teaching an old dog new tricks,
Yeah.
but on a massive digital scale.
Exactly. But this opens up a vulnerability. What if someone intentionally uploads data designed to make the LLM produce harmful content? It's like slipping a bad apple into the barrel.
Oh, I see. So how do they stop that from happening? They
Yeah.
must have some security in place, right?
Of course, there are safeguards, the most common being guardrail moderation. It's essentially a second AI model that acts as a filter trying to block any harmful data from reaching the LLM during this fine-tuning process.
So like a digital bouncer checking IDs at the door, making sure only the good stuff gets in. But this virus research suggests even the toughest bouncer can be fooled.
That's right. This research is a bit unsettling because it introduces a method that bypasses these safeguards. They call it virus, and it uses something called dual goal data optimization.
Dual goal data optimization.
Whoa, okay. That sounds pretty intense. What's going on there? Imagine a wolf in sheep's clothing virus disguises harmful instructions to make them look harmless to the guardrail, all while preserving the harmful intent hidden within the data.
So it gets past security by pretending to be something it's not.
Precisely. It tricks the guardrail into thinking it's harmless data, so it gets waved right through.
Yeah.
And get this, the researchers actually tested this out. They took a seemingly benign math problem and injected a harmful instruction into it.
Hold on. A math problem, like something you'd find in a textbook.
Yep, something straight out of a grade school math textbook. To the guardrail, it looked like any other problem, but hidden within the numbers was a command designed to make the LLM misbehave.
That's both brilliant and terrifying at the same time.
Mm.
But did it actually work? Did they manage to infect the LLM with this doctored math problem?
They tested virus on a standard LLM, a Llama 3.8b model, protected by a Llama Guard 2 guardrail, and the results were pretty alarming. In some cases, virus bypassed the guardrail with a 100% success rate.
Well, 100%. So every single time this harmful instruction slipped through undetected, this is getting serious.
And once the LLM was infected, it produced a significantly higher amount of harmful content compared to other attack methods. This is why this research is causing such a stir.
Okay, I'm officially concerned.
Yeah.
But what makes this virus so effective? How are they pulling off this digital magic trick?
The paper dives into something called the gradient mismatch hypothesis, which is key to understanding why virus works so well. You see, it's not enough to simply disguise the harmful instruction. The change has to be subtle enough that the LLM still learns the harmful intent when it processes the data.
So it's not just about fooling the guardrail, it's about manipulating the LLM itself without it even realizing it's being manipulated.
Exactly. It's like a Trojan horse. It tricks the guardrail with its outward appearance but carries hidden danger inside. This highlights just how fragile security measures like guardrails can be.
So even with all these safeguards in place, determined attackers might still find ways to slip through the cracks. This is pretty unsettling.
It does raise some serious questions about the current state of LLM security. But what's even more concerning is the cost of carrying out such an attack.
You mean the cost of developing this virus technique?
Not quite. I'm talking about the resources needed to actually launch this attack. The researchers found that with today's cloud computing, executing virus is relatively inexpensive, even for individuals with limited resources.
So you're saying this type of attack is within reach of practically anyone. Now that's a game changer.
And it adds a layer of urgency to the need for more robust defenses.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
Yep.
And on that note, I think it's time to take a quick break. We'll be right back to explore potential solutions and what the future holds for LLM security. Okay, so we've just uncovered this virus attack and how it can sneak past the digital bouncers protecting LLMs. Not exactly a comforting thought, but I'm hoping you've got some good news for us. Is there any way to fight back against this digital threat?
Well, there's no silver bullet, but researchers are definitely on the case exploring ways to strengthen LLM security. One approach focuses on those digital bouncers we talked about, the guardrails.
Like training them to be even tougher, more vigilant.
Exactly. Imagine giving those guardrails a serious upgrade, equipping them with even more powerful tools to scrutinize the data. They could start analyzing patterns, the context, even the intent behind the words. Think of it like giving them a super-powered magnifying glass to spot those wolves in sheep's clothing.
Okay, so we're giving the bouncers better tools. But what about the LLMs themselves? Can we make them more resistant to manipulation from the inside out?
That's another promising avenue, strengthening the castle walls, so to speak. One method being explored is called adversarial training. Imagine giving the LLM a sparring partner, someone who constantly tests its defenses.
So we're basically throwing a bunch of dummy attacks at it to toughen it up.
Exactly. By exposing the LLM to these simulated attacks, it learns to recognize and resist manipulation. It's like building up its digital immune system so it can fight off those harmful instructions.
Now we're talking training our LLMs to be digital ninjas, ready to deflect any sneaky attack that comes their way. But are there any other strategies in the works?
Researchers are also working on techniques to analyze the LLM's internal structure, sort of like a digital X-ray. This helps identify and patch up any potential weak points before attackers can exploit them.
It sounds like we're pulling out all the stops,
Yeah.
using every tool in the arsenal to secure these LLMs. But is it enough?
Well, security is an ongoing process, a constant race against those who would use these tools for harmful purposes. It's about staying one step ahead, anticipating new attack vectors, and developing even more robust defenses. But there's another crucial piece of the puzzle, and it's not just about technical solutions.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's this other piece?
Think of it this way. We can build the strongest defenses, the most vigilant guardrails, but it's all for nothing if we don't understand how these LLMs work on a deeper level. We need to shine a light into that black box and figure out the why behind their decisions.
You're talking about that explainability thing, right? Making sure we understand the inner workings of these complex systems.
Exactly. It's like having a brilliant chef who can create amazing dishes,
Mhm.
but you have no idea what ingredients they're using or how they're combining them. If we can't understand the LLM's reasoning process, it's much harder to identify vulnerabilities or predict how it might be manipulated.
So explainability is like getting the recipe from that master chef, figuring out the secret sauce that makes these LLMs tick.
That's a great way to put it. And it's a major area of research right now. Developing techniques to understand and interpret the inner workings of these LLMs will be crucial for ensuring their safety and building trust in their outputs.
Kind of like we're playing a high-stakes game of chess. We need to understand our opponent's moves, predict their strategies, and constantly adapt our own game plan.
And just like in chess, knowledge is power. The more we understand about how these LLMs work, how they learn, and how they can be manipulated, the better equipped we'll be to protect them and use them for good.
It sounds like this is just the beginning of a long and complex journey. As LLMs continue to evolve and become even more sophisticated, the challenges and the stakes will only get higher.
That's right. We're just at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to understanding and harnessing the power of these incredible tools. But the journey, while challenging, is also incredibly exciting. It's pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and challenging us to think differently about the very nature of intelligence. So we've talked about the threats, potential defenses, but what about the bigger picture? Where does all this fit into the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, that's a great question. What are the broader implications of all this?
Well, for one thing, LLMs are already having a huge impact on society, and that impact is only going to grow in the years to come. They're changing the way we work, the way we learn, even the way we create art.
It's true. We're seeing LLMs pop up everywhere these days, from writing articles to composing music to even helping doctors diagnose diseases.
Exactly. And as LLMs become more powerful and more widespread, it's crucial that we think carefully about the ethical implications. We need to make sure that these technologies are used for good and not for harm.
It's a huge responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity. LLMs have the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to poverty to disease.
It's true, but we need to make sure that we're using these technologies wisely and responsibly. It's like we're standing at a crossroads. We can choose to use LLMs to create a better future, or we can let them lead us down a dangerous path.
It's a choice we all have to make, and it's a choice that will shape the future of humanity. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with? What should they be thinking about as they encounter these powerful AI systems in their daily lives?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions. LLMs are powerful tools, but they're still tools. It's up to us to decide how we use them to guide their development and to ensure they serve humanity's best interests.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of LLM security and the ethical considerations that come with this incredible technology. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. But until then, Keep those brains buzzing, stay curious, and remember the future is in our hands. We've been talking about this virus attack and how it exposes vulnerabilities in LLMs, but it feels like there's a bigger story here. We're talking about AI that can learn and adapt, which is mind-blowing, but also kind of scary.
Yeah, it is a bit like opening Pandora's box, isn't it? We're unlocking these incredible capabilities, but we also have to be prepared for the potential consequences.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not enough to just focus on the technical aspects of security. We need to consider the human element, the ethics of it all.
Right, because at the end of the day, these LLMs are tools created by humans, and they reflect our values, our biases, our flaws.
Exactly, and that's why it's crucial to have open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of these technologies. Who gets to control them? How do we ensure they're used for good, not for harm? These aren't easy questions,
Right.
but they're questions we can't afford to ignore.
It's like we're giving these LLMs a voice, a platform, and we need to be incredibly mindful of the messages they might amplify.
Think about it. LLMs are already being used in everything, from chatbots to content creation, even in sensitive fields like healthcare and education. As their influence grows, so does the potential for misuse. We need to be proactive, not reactive, in shaping the ethical landscape of this technology.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're all figuring it out as we go along.
Yeah.
But amidst all the risks and concerns, there's also this sense of incredible possibility, right?
Absolutely. LLMs have the potential to revolutionize countless aspects of our lives. Imagine personalized education tailored to each student's needs, breakthroughs in medical research, even new forms of art and creative expression that we can't even fathom yet.
It's mind-boggling to think about the possibilities, but it also highlights the importance of getting this right, of ensuring that these powerful tools are used ethically and responsibly.
It's a balancing act, for sure. But I'm optimistic. We're having these conversations. Researchers are working on solutions, and society as a whole is becoming more aware of the implications. It's a journey we're all on together.
And as with any journey, there will be bumps along the road, challenges to overcome. But by staying informed, engaging in open dialogue, and never losing sight of the human element, I think we can navigate this new frontier and shape a future where LLMs enhance our lives in positive and meaningful ways.
I completely agree. And that's what makes exploring these topics so fascinating. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about understanding its impact on society, on culture, on what it means to be human in an increasingly digital world. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to remember? What should they be thinking about as they encounter these AI systems in their daily lives?
Yeah, what's the one thing you really want people to take away from all this?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions. LLMs are powerful tools, but they're still tools. It's up to us to decide how we use them to guide their development and to ensure they serve humanity's best interests.
That's a great point. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of LLM security and the ethics of this incredible technology. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. But until then, keep those brains buzzing, stay curious, and remember the future is in our hands.